Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating paradox of the corporate ladder. I mean, have you ever noticed how the rules of the game at work seem to totally flip depending on which rung of the ladder you're actually standing on? It's like this massive secret everyone in the workforce deals with, but nobody really talks about out loud. As you climb, your expectations change, the respect you get changes, and the way your company treats you drastically transforms. So many people dream of making it to the top, only to realize that the reality, well, it isn't exactly what they signed up for.
So it really all boils down to this central question. Why does your company treat people so differently based on their position? It sounds like a simple question, right? But it actually kicks off what we can think of as an inverted hero's journey. We're always told that the climb leads to ultimate power, freedom, and control. But as we're about to see, this climb actually leads to some incredibly heavy, unexpected burdens that are completely invisible when you're looking up from the bottom.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The invisible trap usually looks a little something like this. At the very bottom, the intern just gets ignored. Then you move up, and the employee gets completely overloaded. Climb a bit higher, the manager gets blamed. And at the very top, the CEO carries the weight of absolutely everyone. So let's break down exactly how this happens, step by step, and jump straight into the momentum of this crazy climb. Section 1. The starting line. Interns and juniors. All right, I want you to throw yourself back into the shoes of someone right at the bottom of the ladder. You're staring up at this massive corporate machine, eagerly hoping that someone, literally anyone, notices your effort. And man, there is a massive gap between expectation and reality for level 1, the intern. You expect to be influencing these big, important decisions, but the reality? You're taking notes, you're unjamming the copier, and frankly, you're being ignored. Half the office probably doesn't even know your name. It can feel incredibly frustrating. But there's actually a hidden advantage here. Interns have the safest permission to make mistakes. This is absolutely the best time to experiment and stay curious. Mostly because you aren't carrying the weight of the company on your shoulders just yet. But watch how fast the stakes rise when you hit level 2, the junior employee. Hey, congratulations, you finally landed a full-time gig. But guess what? Your manager doesn't really want eager experimentation anymore. The expectations flip immediately. You're now expected to actually know your responsibilities inside and out. Suddenly, you're facing strict daily deadlines. They want results, not excuses. And this stage teaches a pretty harsh but vital lesson about the difference between being busy and being valuable. A lot of people, and I mean a lot, fall into the trap of thinking that just working longer hours and looking busy is the golden ticket to a promotion. Actually, scratch that, it really doesn't work that way. While hard work might get you noticed, companies only reward and promote the people who actually create value, the ones who solve problems and communicate clearly. Section 2. The middle squeeze. Rising responsibilities. Now, this is where the tension really starts to escalate. You've proven your value, you're a competent senior employee, and now people finally depend on your judgment. But what's really interesting here is the brutal reality for level 3, the senior employee. Just think about how salary growth compares to responsibility growth. The reward for getting better at your job, for fixing problems, and becoming the go-to person, it's simply receiving more work. You're suddenly expected to mentor the new hires while still somehow hitting all your own targets. This perfectly explains why so many careers just completely stall right here. People get comfortable, years pass, their salary bumps up a little bit, but their responsibilities, they grow so much faster. Now, if you do push through that, you hit level 4, the team leader. Here, your whole identity changes. You transition from the contributor, who gets paid to actually do the work, to the team leader, who gets paid to help others do the work. It's a totally different job. Leadership at this level isn't about barking orders. It's about solving interpersonal conflicts, motivating exhausted employees, and protecting your team from the higher-ups. If the team succeeds, sure, you get the credit. But if they fail, you take absolutely all the blame. People crave that authority, but very few realize the sheer volume of responsibility that's chained to it. And man, that pressure cooker leads us straight into level 5, the manager. From the outside looking in, managers seem like they have all the power, right? But their daily reality is literally a vice grip. Employees are constantly complaining upward, executives are constantly pushing downward, and the manager is just standing there, squeezed right in the middle of it all. Every missed deadline, every slashed budget, every petty conflict lands squarely on their desk. They have the nearly impossible job of keeping everyone happy while just absorbing pressure from every conceivable angle. Section 3. Heavy crowns. Moving from directors to CEOs. Okay, now we are entering the true high-stakes territory of the corporate world. As you enter these upper echelons, notice how drastically the timeline of your responsibility expands. The focus completely shifts away from daily individual tasks and pivots hard toward long-term survival and strategy. Down at the lower levels, you're focused on day-to-day task execution, or maybe month-to-month problem solving. But at level 6, the director isn't asking, how do we finish today's work anymore? They're asking, where should this entire company be next year? They are looking at the year and the decade ahead. The pressure goes through the roof because one bad strategic decision here doesn't just tank a single project, it can negatively impact hundreds of employees.
Which brings us right to level 7, the executive, where decisions shape the whole company. We're talking hiring, expansion, layoffs, the whole shebang. There is this incredibly pervasive myth that executives just enjoy unlimited freedom and autonomy, that they just play golf all day. But the reality is starkly different. Their calendars are absolutely packed. Every single decision they make is heavily scrutinized. Millions of dollars might literally hinge on a single 30-minute meeting. At this height, success definitely brings prestige for sure, but every single mistake becomes a very public headline.
And finally, we reach level 8, the CEO. At the top, everyone sees power. Few see loneliness. This is the ultimate, heartbreaking twist of the climb. The CEO has absolutely no boss inside the company to help them solve everyday problems. When profits fall, they answer to the investors, all alone. When employees lose confidence, they alone have to rebuild that trust. The higher you climb, the fewer people you can actually speak honestly with. It is an incredibly, sometimes paralyzingly isolated position.
Section 4. The twist, uncovering the biggest corporate myth.
You know, understanding what actually drives this stressful climb is just as important as understanding the climb itself. Most of us just assume a promotion automatically equals happiness, right? It's the carrot dangling right in front of us. But in reality, it simply exchanges one set of problems for a completely different set of problems. Yes, you get the higher salary, absolutely, but it comes inextricably linked to way higher expectations, much higher pressure, and way more responsibility.
Ultimately, the core message we really need to take away here is this: success isn't reaching the top. Success is reaching the level that matches the life you actually want to live. And I find that incredibly empowering. Some people genuinely thrive on the pressure and the chaos of leadership, but others vastly prefer being a deep, focused expert without ever having to manage a single person, and neither path is wrong. The only true mistake you can make is spending your entire career exhausting yourself climbing someone else's ladder.
Section 5. Redefining your success, focusing on growth.
So now that we've made the invisible realities of this whole corporate structure visible, we can kind of reframe the ladder itself. It shouldn't just be about chasing titles. It really should be used as a tool for personal growth, for learning, and for understanding the unique, unseen challenges at every single level. So the crucial point here is shifting away from the wrong focus. We have to stop constantly asking, how can I get promoted, and start asking, what skills do I actually need to deserve it? Because let's be real, titles can be handed out overnight. They're literally just words typed into an email signature. But true leadership and the genuine ability to bear the massive weight of those upper rungs, that has to be earned through real skill and personal growth.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Which level of the corporate ladder are you on right now, and what is the absolute biggest invisible challenge you're currently facing? Take a second to just reflect on your own position and the totally unique pressures you're handling today. If this explainer changed the way you view the corporate world and maybe helped you understand the hidden dynamics at play, make sure you subscribe for more insights into careers, business, and psychology. Keep learning, keep growing, and whatever you do, make absolutely sure you're climbing a ladder you actually want to be on.